Should I have my camera on while people come in, or?
Yeah, you can have your camera on. I usually just chat for the first few moments. Welcome
Good.
folks who are joining.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll give everyone a few moments until I jump into my quick intro about Acelab and today's event. And then we will get started with today's presentation from Alpen High Performance Products. Let's see how we're doing. All right, looks like we've got quite a few folks joining already, so I'll go ahead and get started with my intro. Hello, everyone. My name is Bo. Thank you so much for joining today. I work for Acelab. We are the host of today's webinar presented by Craig Maierhofer from Alpen. And first, I'm going to give you just a quick rundown about Acelab, who we are and what we do. And then we will go ahead and get started with today's presentation. So Acelab is a tech platform that provides free, non-sponsored product research tools for architects and builders. We are built by architects for architects. So here's a quick snapshot of our team. You might recognize a few of these folks from some of their other ventures. Christine is a great building science educator. Dave was the former CEO of Revit. So we all came together as a team of architects who were really trying to solve the problems that we were experiencing ourselves in practice. So Acelab was built on the core belief that we wanted to allow architects to spend more time designing and less time doing stuff like this. So tracking down reps, searching through old project folders, working with outdated workflows to try to track down the vital product information that you need. So if this looks familiar, you might want to check out Acelab. I'll go ahead and sign in, give you a quick tour of our site, as well as show you how you can connect directly with Alpen HPP on Acelab. So if you have follow-up questions, you want specs, product literature, you can enter those requests directly on our site, and that's the fastest, easiest way to get the information that you're looking for. So you see I've signed into my account. Once I sign in, this is my library dashboard. So now that I've signed in, anytime I come back to Acelab, I'll go right to my personal dashboard and get a quick overview of all the work that I've been doing. So whether that's searches that I want to pick up on, products that I've saved to my library, or conversations and projects that I'm storing as well. First, I'll just real quick jump through one of our searches. So at this dark bar up here, you'll be able to see all of our product categories. So we definitely focused on the exterior envelope categories first and have been expanding continuously. We're expanding our product categories a lot this year, so keep checking back to this other products tab, and we'll always be adding some of our newer product categories over here. And I'll actually jump you through roofing because this is a newer launch. So we just launched roofing categories this week. Some of you might have received a fun email about that. So as you can see, these are very guided search tool processes. So we try to use diagrams, use images whenever possible. We always ask for your location, so making sure that there are products that are available for you, as well as your project type. And then something I like to mention is anytime you see these little question marks, you can hover over those to get some more information. So we try to build in some extra, guided processes. If there's some considerations about how a specific filter might affect performance or cost or other, material options, we'll include that information as a little note here. So that's a great place to go to get a little extra information about how these filters might affect your results. And you can also skip questions if they aren't relevant to you, or if you just want to get a higher number of results. And we also will let you know, how many products we have that fulfill those. We also ask for special requirements. And then go ahead and filter that roofing. So here you can see you can come back and change up these filters. You don't have to jump through that whole quiz process again. So if I want to change up some of my answers, I can. And then scrolling down here, you can get a quick overview of the manufacturer, as well as all of the products that fit your specific search. I can save any of these products, either without a project or to a specific project location. And I can also add these to a comparison tool. So I'll just start adding a few down here to show you what that looks like. Go ahead and click compare. And that takes me to an overview page where I can just get a quick snapshot of all of the product data that we have, apples to apples comparison, as well as request additional information. If I'm looking for something more specific like lead times or quotes, we have an easy button to request that as well. You can also save it from here. And scrolling down, you read this vertically like a table. So I get a comparison across of each of the products, the material options, as well as performance data. And then one other thing to mention is this save comparison button is really handy. It just copies the link to your clipboard. So you can use this as a really quick communication tool with your team to be able to say like, hey, I'm looking at these 4 products. Here's a link, check out this comparison and see what you think. All right, so that's our search process. I'll just jump over here to show you your library, some of those categories where you can start to save and organize that information that you're finding on the site. So first I'll jump over to my project portal. I like to describe this as kind of, a flexible tool to just organize your research however makes sense for you. So whether that's by residence, you can see I've uploaded some residences here, or by more general categories such as research or firm standards. This is a pretty flexible system, and you can just make it work for your team and firm. Adding a project is very simple, so we only ask for 4 questions here. And if you're just doing a general research or not a residence, you can kind of give dummy answers here. Expected start date for product sourcing is just to let you and your team know when you're going to start looking into researching products. Go ahead and create project, and that's all you have to do to upload a project. So it's pretty easy to start building out your categories that you want to organize things into. And then you can come back to your project anytime to add additional info. You can store documents, you can store CAD files. And then to show you the other categories here, so I can have conversations directly with reps and nest them under my projects as well. Save my product searches. So if I'm at the stage where I'm kind of looking into a product, but I'm not quite at my shortlist or at my comparison, I'm still kind of like sifting through the options, I might save my searches here and give them a name so that I know kind of what I was looking into. And these are all filterable by category, as well as your product shortlist. So when you save a product to a project, it'll go right here, and it'll also go to your general product library. So if you want to see all of the products that you've saved, whether they're for a project or not, you can come over here to my products, scroll down, you'll see if you've tagged it with a project, it'll show up here. And if you've saved it without a project, it'll just have no tag. And this is also filterable by category. Then I'll skip over searches and just head to conversations. So again, there's a project-based location or a general location for any of the information you're saving. So if you want to just get a snapshot of all your conversations, head over here to the conversations tab, and you can filter this by project as well. And then the last thing I'll show you here is if you already know what you're looking for and you're like, I want to get to Alpen's products, you can use this search bar in the top, type in the name of the manufacturer you're looking for, and head directly to their brand page on Acelab. So scrolling down, this is what I want to show everyone in the webinar today. So if you have follow-up questions, I'll send the link to this page in the chat. You can come here anytime throughout the webinar. Click connect next to Leah's name. So Leah is another coworker of Craig's at Alpen. If I hit this connect button, it'll ask me to nest it under a project. So I'll just put mine under a general research project, which is a great option if it's not a project specific question. Update my project, and then I can put in exactly the information I'm looking for. So this is why it's the kind of quickest, easiest way for you to get exactly what you need from Alpen's team. Just come over here at some point during the webinar, enter in what you're looking for. That goes directly to Craig and to Leah, and they'll get back to you with the information you've requested. And you will also have a record of that in your Acelab conversations. So you can go over to your conversations and see that you've requested that price quote. You can also see a quick snapshot of project details here. So that's why we will ask you to nest it under a project. If it's just a general research project, it'll help out the product experts to know where you're located and all of that good stuff. And And you can send attachments back and forth through this portal as well. So those drawings that you're storing in your project portal, those can be used to communicate with reps throughout the site as well. All right. So with that, that is it for my tour of Acelab. I'm going to go ahead and share that link with everyone in the chat now to head to Alpen's page. So that's a good thing to just have open. If you at any point in the presentation have some questions, you can enter exactly what you're looking for there. We will also save some time for Q&A at the end of today's presentation. So please feel free to enter any questions into the Q&A. We'll leave about 10 minutes to get to those at the end. And if we see any come up during the presentation that are important to get to immediately, we'll try to answer as many as we can. And with that, I think I am good to go. Craig, if you feel ready, you can go ahead and take it away and get started with windows that insulate like walls.
Great. Thank you so much, Bo. I appreciate that. And good morning and good afternoon to everybody, depending on what time zone you're in. I appreciate the opportunity to present to you today. Many of you may have heard in the past of who Alpen is or don't know whatsoever. So really today's session is just a general overview of our company and our products and sort of our position in the marketplace that may be appropriate for your projects that you're working on, especially in the high performance space. That's kind of where we live and breathe. If you think about where a window like an Anderson Pella Marvin window sort of tops out in terms of performance, that's where our entry point is. So that's the kind of that's the market that we play in, which is a much smaller market, but very fast growing market, especially as we talk about things like Energy Star 7.0 and what's happening in the Northern Zone. So I'll walk you through some slides, give you some information. We'll try not to keep things super technical. Certainly happy to follow up with any technical questions that you may have afterward. But just appreciate y'all being here today. So I'll bring up the presentation and we will get started. So this is a project right here on this main screen that's here in Boulder, Colorado, which is where we're located, just outside of Boulder, Colorado, in a town called Louisville. The company itself, there's a long history to the company. It was originally founded in 1981, and at that time was an architectural glass manufacturing company. We were manufacturing heat mirror glass units, which is a suspended coated film or multiple suspended coated films in lieu of actual glass in the center of the IG with low E coated glass on the outside. So we are a Colorado-based manufacturing facility. We have a single location here in Colorado, 60,000 square foot manufacturing facility. Talking about that suspended coated film, we are the oldest and most experienced fabricator of suspended coated film insulated glass units in the world, still operating today. The products that we manufacture, we essentially, glass has become a small portion of what we manufacture, but we do still do that for other framing systems out there and curtain wall systems. The primary core products for our company are a fiberglass American style windows. So that's going to be your outswing casement and awning type of windows. And then we do uPVC and a fiberglass reinforced uPVC European style windows and doors. And that's going to be your in-swing tilt and turn windows that we've seen have such a presence here in the US coming over from Europe over the past decade or so. Again, we also do still manufacture ultra high performance insulated glass units for third-party applications. We're about 90% windows and doors now and a 10% commercial glass in the overall mix. And that's just a picture of our manufacturing facility here in Louisville. Anytime you're in the area, we love to do tours by appointment. So just reach out to us, happy to do it. So when you break down with what Alpen does, and we're a coast to coast shipper of window products. So we last year in 2022, we had sales into every state in the union except for 4, mostly located in the southern region. And so we do sell coast to coast, and we sell all across the country. 50% of what we do is residential windows and doors, and then 40% would be commercial windows and doors. We do include multifamily projects in our commercial category, just because the process that we go through on those projects is very similar to what a commercial building process would look like. And then, of course, 10% is still our traditional glass sales. So as I said, we're very, very focused on high performance. So if you look at NFRC certifications for windows, which we have, we're the highest performing NFRC rated windows here in the US, and we think the world. NFRC is applicable only to the US, obviously, but we've not seen anything in terms of total window performance, full window performance that meets or exceeds Alpen's product, high-end product. We start at an R5, that's an entry-level window for us in the space, and we can go all the way up to a full frame window value of R11 or a 0.09 U value. I did speak to the fact that we do sell all across North America in different climate zones, and we have glazing packages for all types of climates. We also are very well known for being able to tune different elevations of the building depending on what the strategy is with solar heat gain and what we can do with low, balanced, and high solar heat gain options for our glazing. It's a bit unique with Alpen because most window manufacturers are buying their insulated glass units from a third party, whether it's Cardinal or other manufacturers of IGs. Alpen is the window manufacturer that does manufacture our own insulated glass units that go into our product. So it gives us an immense control over our quality, and also gives us the ability to do some unique things from a performance standpoint that others may not be able to do. So that's a very unique value proposition that Alpen offers. And we do have an extensive after-sales service and support network, both from our internal folks within the company as well as third parties around the country to help in that regard. We get to do fun projects all the time. You can see here in the South in Alabama, we've got a couple of projects that we've done in Antarctica. We've done several projects up in Alaska. We've got a couple of dealers up in Alaska. There is a station down there in the Arctic Circle that has Alpen windows. And then as the company was owned for about a 5-year period by a company called Sirius Materials, we began this major upgrade to the Empire State Building, where we replaced all of the glass in their existing double hung windows with Alpen heat mirror units. The project, I believe, had an ROI of about 3.5 years in terms of turnaround time. So anytime you're in New York City, you can see our glass products that are in those windows in the Empire State Building, all 6,514 of them. So we'll start with single family residential and fiberglass and fiberglass reinforced uPVC windows. Again, all different climate zones that we work across. While we are primarily focused on cold weather climates only because of the insulation value of our windows, we do ship to warm and cold weather climates wherever air tightness and less air infiltration in through that window system is going to be critical. Passive house, many of you are familiar with, is really sort of the main thrust of what our windows go into. Probably 2/3 of what we sell into are passive house projects. May or may not be going for certification, but are certainly inspired by that. And both of our window lines that we offer for residential are passive house certified. These are some photos, projects, commercial fiberglass windows going into residential multifamily. So you can see that we've got different areas of the country where we've been in, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Colorado, New York. Most of these projects that you see here are passive house projects, but not all of them. Certainly some of these projects are just looking for a higher performance standard for those tenants that are going to be living in those buildings to maintain comfort, to maintain low energy costs. And we get to do beautiful projects all across the country and continue to do so. This is just a sampling of some of the ones that we've been able to work on with our fiberglass window product, that being our North American outswing operation. So for European in-swing operation, this is projects where we utilized our fiberglass reinforced uPVC. And we'll get into what a little more details about what that is. But it is a proprietary fiberglass element that's co-extruded with uPVC. That allows for much more dimensional stability, stronger. It's twice as strong as a typical uPVC. And we'll get into some of the value proposition around that. But again, you can see various different areas of the country. We're here in Colorado, in New York, University of Toronto there in Scarborough, Ontario, the largest passive house project in North America that we were participated in, and then Connecticut and New York as well. Fiberglass and uPVC for student housing. We've done quite a bit of this around the country. Again, Ohio, Williams College located in Massachusetts, Sacred Hall, CEU Denver, a couple of CEU Denver, CEU Boulder. Obviously, we've got great relationships with the University of Colorado, having been here since 1981 in Boulder Valley. So these are just projects that we've worked on mostly for residence halls in buildings on universities, but we've done other buildings as well, especially on the CEU campus, which is located just minutes from us here in Louisville. What sets us apart? We're the leading innovator in lightweight high performance window and glass technology, and there's a couple key elements to that statement. Lightweight. So we'll get into the thin glass area, which is important to understand, but traditionally, as we've manufactured windows utilizing suspended coated film as the inner panes, whether it's 1 or 2, or at times even we've done 3 suspended films on the inside of the IG, very, very lightweight in terms of the glass unit, because the film weighs really next to nothing. So you're still weighs about the same as a double pane unit. And then when you're utilizing a fiberglass frame, fiberglass is a very, very lightweight, strong, highly insulating material to be making windows from. So we focus on that really, really lightweight glazing for both window and glass technology. We're also verifiable industry-leading performance claims. So it's easy for somebody to come from a different area that's non-NFRC and talk about their performance levels and show you modeled performance, and they say what they can do and they talk about where their performance is. We believe in transparency. We believe in third-party certification, again, through the National Fenestration Ratings Council, through Passive House, both FIAS and PHI, in verifying what our window products can do out in the field and giving you that reliable third-party certification. It's not just us saying it. So focused on that energy efficiency and focused on commercial grade structural ratings for our window products. High altitude glazing proprietary gas retention system. So we're sitting here at about 5,400 feet. We sell projects up in Leadville, Colorado, which is the highest town in North America at 12,000 feet. We also sell projects down at sea level. You run into some unique challenges for other window manufacturers when they're shipping to those different altitudes. We've been able to sort of master that through a proprietary gas retention system. And you can see the picture there on the right. You've got a little mylar balloon there. It's connected to a breather tube that is hermetically sealed inside of the insulated glass unit. And it really acts as, think of it as a lung. So when we're going up or down, you have that expansion or contraction going on within the IG for the gas that's inside of it. And that balloon allows that IG to breathe, essentially. Once we get to the final spot where the project is taking place, we allow a couple days for the glass unit to acclimate and any bowing or distortion of the glass to flatten back out. And then we have a process that we include with every window that we ship to be able to crimp that tube and then cut it off and tuck it underneath the glazing stop so that it's not visible to the eye. We're only putting this into place when we're going up or down 1,500 feet of elevation. But again, as you can imagine, being a manufacturer at 5,400 feet, we're going down quite a bit as we ship to different elevations around the country. So that's a very unique thing. We're unaware of any other window manufacturer that will ship over the Continental Divide. Most of them that do will only do it with an open breather tube, which is allowing, it's not, now you don't have a hermetic seal to the inside of that insulated glass unit. Ours is hermetically sealed the whole time, and we've got a third-party verifiable system in place that we have to re-up every 2 years and have the certifications take place for that third party to make sure that it does what we say it's going to do. And then superior acoustic performance, where we're picking up additional sound attenuation through the use of either additional suspended coated films on the inside of the IG or thin glass, which we will get into in just a moment. So we just want to keep touching on this lightweight insulated glass. Suspended film and thin glass are the two options that we utilize on the inside of our insulated glass unit. Our outer glass lights are pretty typical. We have low E options. We can do various tinting, based on the low E, 1, 2, or 3 coats of low E, depending on what we're trying to do with solar heat gain. And then our inner spaces are filled with either argon or krypton. Mostly argon at this point, only because of what has gone on with krypton pricing in the marketplace. We used to, 2 years ago, I believe, maybe a little over 2 years ago, we were paying about 25 cents a liter for krypton. Now that's up approaching $5 a liter. So it's been a massive jump up for various reasons I won't get into, but it is what it is. But those are the gas that goes inside of our units, primarily argon. And then in the center, again, we have a suspended coated film or thin glass. And then our inner light room facing, again, is going to be either a laminated or a frit or low E options. So at our center glass, we can go as low as a 0.06 U value on center of glass, and our start point is about a 0.13 U or R7.7. Incidentally, the note on the bottom, suspended coated film, which has again been around. We've been producing it longer than anybody since 1981, but that really 4+ decades at this point. Over 200 million square feet of suspended coated film glazing installed worldwide. Spacer flexibility, warm edge options. So whenever we're using suspended coated film, we do have to use a metal spacer because we have to have that rigidity to be able to support the suspension of that film on the inside of the IG. If we're using glass, either traditional 1/8 or 3/16 inch glass on the center pane, or what is mostly what we use now is a thin glass, a 1.3 millimeter thin glass, then we can go to a warm edge foam spacer. And the advantage of that is that we get a significant improvement on U value for the overall unit than when we're using steel or stainless steel, mild steel or stainless steel. Because of course, anytime you're introducing a metal into the assembly, you're having more conduction going on. So being able to use that warm edge foam spacer on the inside of the glass unit significantly increases the overall insulation performance of that glass unit. So thin glass, what is thin glass? And you may be hearing a little bit, if any of you were at the National Glass Association conference a couple months ago in Florida, you heard quite a bit about it. Essentially, the Department of Energy, who we have a long-standing relationship with, and the national labs, primarily Lawrence Berkeley National Lab in California, they came to us in 2018 and said, you have a history of being innovators in the fenestration space. We'd like to talk to you about how do we look at moving to thin glass options inside of insulated glass units to better reach performance levels needed as we grow and get more energy efficient as a country and as a society, but also how do we do that and still remain lightweight And so we're not just putting heavy units in there that are having a profound effect on the hardware, tough to install. So they asked us to collaborate with them on commercializing what they called the skinny triple, and we refer to it as either the thin triple or the thin quad. The quad can be seen there in the center picture with 4 panes of thin glass. But the key here is very lightweight. We looked at this actually years ago, but thin glass, very few producers of it. Corning did Gorilla Glass, and we've got Pilkington started to get into it, but it was, until you started to see this huge influx of cell phones and flat screen televisions, there wasn't that much thin glass being made. But when those two items started to really grow, as well as solar panels, you had a lot more manufacturing of thin glass, and the technology improved, and as such, the cost came down. So it was cost prohibitive just a few years ago, and now it's gotten to the point where it's on the same sort of level in terms of the costing as regular low E coated glass. So it enabled us to work with the Department of Energy and integrate thin glass into our glass assemblies. And again, we could use a foam spacer instead of a steel spacer, which had dramatic improvement on the overall U value. So right now what we're using is anywhere from 0.7 millimeter to 1.3 millimeter on our interior glass units, 75 to 86% lighter than traditional triple pane glass that's been used in the past. The advantages of thin glass, again, very light. So if you look at the weight difference to make a double pane window into a triple pane window, if we use thin glass, the added weight on average is going to be the approximate weight of 2 apple pies, 6.6 pounds, depending on how your grandmother makes her apple pie. If you're using standard glass and going from a double pane to a triple pane, the added weight is approximately that of 2 25-pound dumbbells or 5 bowling balls, 48 pounds. So that's adding a tremendous amount of weight to the unit, which has all kinds of ramifications down the line. Again, the wear and tear on the hardware, the ability to install, the challenges associated with installation, the longevity of that much weight being onto an operable unit. So very lightweight, just like suspended coated film was for us. Moving to thin glass made a lot of sense because, again, we're the leader in lightweight, high performance windows and glass. So again, going back to our window units, the Zenith series fiberglass, narrow frame profile, a lot of glass ratio. Operation is outswing and sliding, so we have casements, awnings, horizontal sliding units, and double and single hung. We have unlimited color options. We do 14 standard colors in our fiberglass. And the whole reason for this is that it's a painted product, and we do our painting in-house. For many years, we did it with a third party outside of our manufacturing facility. And we just felt, and when we moved into our current facility about 2.5 years ago, that we really needed to take control of our own destiny as far as our finish goes. So we brought our painting in-house, and it allows us to maintain that quality assurance because we know what's going on in every step of the practice and painting. So we do have unlimited colors. We can do all custom colors. Our frame U factor is a 0.20, and then our triple pane glass U factor averages a 0.11 in our Zenith fiberglass series. Our tie roll series, which is our European style in-swing tilt and turn. This is that fiberglass reinforced uPVC that I spoke of earlier. It's called Ralfipro. The extruder of this product is Rayhow. It's their top end passive house certified component frame and sash material, all Ralfipro. So again, a co-extrusion with fiberglass and uPVC, creating that dimensional stability that's 2 times that of uPVC, allows you to go bigger without having to put steel reinforcement into the frame. And anytime we're introducing steel reinforcement, then that's just one more conductor into that window system that's going to lower the overall insulation performance. We also have a very wide glass pocket in this, so we can actually go out to a 2-inch insulated glass unit, which we've done. Great for sound quality, STC, and it certainly does more for insulation values as well. It's a wide frame profile, so we tend to get a lower U factor on the frame than we do on a narrow one like the fiberglass. And again, the operation being in-swing, tilt-turn, in-swing casement, hopper windows. And unlike our fiberglass, which is a coated or a painted finish, this is a coated finish with, we use Renolit Exafoil colors. It's actually an applied foil. So it's done at the extrusion process where they're adding a foil onto that profile. It's being adhesive applied onto the exterior of the existing profile. It is the FX colors are specifically designed for North American UV. So they're just, we're at a lower latitude than Europe is. They primarily use one that isn't quite as strong against UV protection in Europe because it's not as needed as much, but it is here, so that's what we use. So there's our U-frame down to 0.13 on the tie roll system, and then our triple pane glass U factor 0.09. A couple more series of windows I'll jump into that are specific to our commercial business and commercial only. We don't offer these to our single family residential. So the Aspect series, it again, as we talked about that, the fiberglass reinforced uPVC, this is at work on this particular series. This can be looked at essentially as a drop down from our fiberglass North American operation window. It is a uPVC product. The sash only has that Ralphie Pro fiberglass reinforced uPVC. The frames themselves are standard uPVC, but it is an outswing operation with casements and awnings. Again, we're using that foil application for the colors on the outside, and then you can see the U factor is a 0.13 versus our tie roll, which was 0.19 versus our tie roll, which is a 0.13, and then triple pane glass U factor of 0.10. Accent series uPVC is going to be basically another commercial product, which is a drop product for the tie roll series because it is a European style operation. Again, in-swing tilt turn, in-swing casements, and hopper style windows. A frame U factor of a 0.31, same triple pane U glass factor of 0.11. Again, a wider frame profile. Again, we consider this a drop product for our tie roll series in those commercial projects. And then just a little bit more about that Ralphie Pro reinforced uPVC. It's co-extruded and it's made from both uPVC and fiberglass. Talked about twice the strength of a standard uPVC, those larger sizes, without having to use that steel reinforcement. It's less cost, less weight, and less labor involved with that. So a tremendous advantage for that particular product. Reinforcement still can be used to create even larger sizes. That brings me to the end of the presentation. I see that we've got a couple of questions. I don't know if you want to point on those, Bo, but I'll drop the screen share and take any questions. Oh, looks like you're muted, Bo.
There we go. Sorry about that.
No problem.
First thing I wanted to mention, I saw one question come in from an attendee with some questions about Acelab's business model and stuff like that. So I just wanted to share one more link in the chat to my meeting scheduler. If you have follow-up questions about Acelab, feel free to sign up for a quick meeting with me. That's the easiest way to get all your questions answered there. All right, with that, let's jump over to the questions for Alpen. So first, I think maybe we covered this. How about, do your residential windows have ASTM F2090 compliant window opening control devices for fall protection?
We do, and we offer a couple different options for that. We can make that available to you offline. But yes, limiters are certainly something that come into play, especially New York City or any of the large cities for fall protection, and we do offer that.
Awesome, great. So I'll say that's answered live, and I'm adding a link here to back to that Alpen page. If you want to, request some more specific information on that kind of stuff, you can enter that over there. All right, let's see. Daniel, it sounds like, has been working with one of your sales reps, Dave Mayer, on getting ZR6 windows ordered later this month, and is having a hard time deciding between solar control 6 TGT and which has a better SHGC value. Looks like this one's a bit complex. I'm going to recommend Dan to maybe send this through the site and and follow up with Craig over the platform about this one.
Yeah, it's Daniel, it's a math problem. So everything that we do offer from a solar control or just a solar heat gain option carries a specific certified solar heat gain coefficient number to it. So we don't offer 2 hard coats. Our low solar heat gain, the way it's offered with those low E soft coatings, but we do have the NFRC certified figures that are available to you. All of the specifics on that ZR6 and ZR7 and ZR9 and ZR10, that all of the values are there for solar control, for balance, and for high gain are shown what those are. And then you talked, I think previously, right before that, asked about how we build our window units, ensuring that our windows are built without manufacturing defects. Obviously, in the manufacturing environment, quality is king. We want to have, we want to be able to measure quality throughout the process. So as we've grown up as a company, as we've learned to introduce quality assurance throughout each step of our process, we have we've built in place in the manufacturing process where if there's a handoff, we basically look at each stage of manufacturing as a customer. So as one cell hands off to the next cell in manufacturing, that cell is evaluating for quality to make sure that they're getting, as the customer of the prior cell, the right quality. So what we aim to do is to fix any quality concerns that come down the line as we're moving through the manufacturing process. But once we get to the end, now we have a final QC that every window goes through, and there are checkpoints throughout the whole list of what they're looking for to make sure that we've met every quality standard that we have set in place before we package and wrap and ship a window out to our customers.
Awesome. Cool. Real quick, I see some folks are already answering this, but just wanted to mention I launched the poll for today's webinar. So there's a few general questions on there that if you can answer for us, it's really helpful to just get some feedback from you guys about what is important to you. And then there are also some questions there you can indicate if you would like follow-up information, if you have current projects that you'd like to talk to Alpen's team about, either coming up soon or currently. You can answer that on the poll as well. So please do that. And, we'll follow up with you over email to make sure that if you indicated you'd like more information, that information is getting to you. But again, the easiest way is if you just want to go right on the site right now to request exactly what you're looking for, that'll show up in your inbox more quickly. So yeah, feel free to answer this poll and we will follow up with you if you indicate that you would like that.
Yep. I see a question from Hastings to describe suspended film. It's similar to a Mylar film. It's manufactured by Eastman Chemical, and it is a low E sputter coated film. So just like we sputter coat low E coatings onto glass, then it's a low E sputtered coated film, and then it's a rolled product. So we lay it down and we buy it directly from Eastman Chemical, have for many, many years. Again, we've started manufacturing that back in 1981. So we've been doing it a long, long time, longer than anybody else. But that's a general description of what the film is, a low E coated Mylar suspended film. Dave, good to see you on the call. Thanks for being there. I know we've met before. If you're not aware that we don't do a curtain wall system, we do have a similar storefront system in our fiberglass. In our fiberglass lineup, it's meant to mimic a traditional aluminum storefront system, and that is our 400 series. I think you've traditionally worked with Dave Maier in the past, and Dave can certainly offer additional details around that particular 400 series for you. The track record, Scott, on color retention for fiberglass. Obviously, we're always trying to improve our coating on our paint on the outside of our fiberglass. We've continued to do a lot of work in that area. The paint system that we use is a water-based system that's designed for use in the North American climates. With a fiberglass window, I mean, you're talking about a window that could last 60, 70, even 80 years. So, nothing's gonna in terms of a finish, especially in the Colorado sun, is gonna last forever. The beautiful thing about fiberglass is it's a highly paintable product. So, whether it's 20, 30 years down the road, 40 years down the road, whenever you start to get some chalking or fading on that paint, just like you do on your house, anytime you paint your house, then it's an easily paintable product. Gina, I see your question about sharing the slides. I believe that I can. Just want to check with our marketing folks real quick before I do that, but I can do that through Bo.
Totally. I also, I saw that question as well, and I just sent over a link to a page on Acelab where we'll be uploading recordings of past events for our users. So you can also head over there and we'll upload this one after. That's
perfect. Perfect answer. Keith, I'm very familiar with Euro spec window on a large multifamily residential product. Does Alpen integrate blinds into your windows? We do not at this time. It is something that we are actively looking at on a couple different fronts and working with folks on, but we do not at this particular time integrate blinds with our windows. Everything we do is triple pane or better, triple or quad pane. So we're working with very limited airspace versus most of the people that you see that integrate those blinds it's a double pane product. So they got more airspace there they're working with. Hastings, we absolutely have looked at vacuum insulating glass. Honestly, we can do pretty much everything the vacuum insulated glass can do in terms of performance with what we're producing and manufacturing today at a significantly lower price point. So, but we get approached by the VIG guys quite often, and we've looked at a couple different areas to integrate vacuum insulated glass. Looks like Carrie asked about install and warranty conditions. We do on our website. We're very transparent about what our warranties are for each of our products. In terms of certified installers, we don't have certified installers, but we do provide detailed installation guidelines for our products that we make sure that are implemented with the installers of any project, whether it's commercial or residential. But they're all based on AIA standards. There's no black magic to installing a high performance window. It's all based on AIA standards. And in terms of limits on the warranty and defects, the warranty is specifically for the defects, and we do address finish on our warranty as well. Richard, as architects, we never specify a manufacturer. We always specify its performance standard. That's perfectly fine. We do have architects that do specify us specifically, but certainly, it's always easy to see when Alpen is the spec, because if you're getting down to the 0.11, 0.12 type of U values on a particular project, that it's going to be Alpen because there aren't other folks that can get down to that level, or very, very few of them that can get down to that level. Motorized operable units. There are third parties that we've worked with, Kimball, and we've put that into specific projects. It's only been implemented on commercial projects where there's a certain amount of volume associated with that, and that's just by nature of the third party that we've worked with in the past. But there are a few different that have a motorized ability to operate the units. Is AIA cladding on PVC windows an option? Not with Alpen. I have seen it with other manufacturers, but we do not have an AIA clad option on our PVC window. Does Alpen do balcony, desk, sliding doors, or windows open? So we do in both our Tyrol series and our Zenith series. We do a door, and in Tyrol, which is our tilt and turn window, we do what we call a tilt and glide sliding door, but we also do a traditional balcony door, which is essentially a very large tilt and turn window. Has a pretty big threshold at the bottom, because it really is more like a window, but it's called a balcony door. In our Zenith series, we do a traditional sliding glass door, so a pull slide door on that. Let's see, Patrick, what new technologies are you considering to improve frame insulation? You know, we have a very good insulation right now that we utilize on both our products. We are looking at standardizing the same on both, but we don't have anything that we're bringing to market right now. It's more in just R&D at this point. Do you make exterior glass sliding doors for passive house? Absolutely. Both doors are adequate for passive house and certified passive house component on both our Zenith and Tyrol series. Zakaria, I hope I pronounced that right. Our warranties can be found on our website for different products, and they do vary. We have a 20-year warranty on our Tyrol product for residential. We have a lifetime on our Zenith for residential, and we have a 10-year warranty for our commercial products. Do you have a projected lifespan for the windows beyond any warranty period? I think I talked about Zenith. Potentially could be, 60, 70, 80-year window. Don't really have a projected lifespan on a fiberglass reinforced uPVC, but if I had to just throw a number out there, I would say something in the 30 to 40-year range. Steven said, can you talk about the kind of advantage you provide over higher performance passive house accredited manufacturers, ZOA and Low and Triple Pane? We're the only one that's using a suspended coated film. We're the only one that's using thin glass. So we're very, very focused on the lightweight aspect of it. Our performance is, in terms of our highest performance, is immeasurable against another competitor because they just can't get there with what we can do. We have significantly lower lead times. We're an American manufacturer. I know Lowen is as well, but Zola is I know they're an American company, but their products come from Europe. So we have a very, very short lead time, and we have the ability to service that product because we're located here in the US. Andrea, I won't get into the specifics of our profile dimensions because there are many, but we have an architectural design manual on our website. We have drawings of every one of our profiles that you can go and see all of the specific dimensions there. Sang Mike Chung, what are your company's sustainability goals as lowering carbon emissions and help meeting the AIA 2030 commitment? We get a lot of comments about, what else are we doing besides, we have a lot of impact investors that are behind our company, and they're very specifically focused on, what are you doing? Our sort of catchphrase is saving the world one window at a time. Whether it's lower carbon through, if you think about fiberglass, think about thin glass. When you take traditional glass that's 1/8 or 3/16 or 1/4 inch, it's a tremendous amount of embodied carbon that goes into making that. We're getting 3 to 4 times the square footage of thin glass with the same energy consumption as it is to make that 1/4 inch glass. So significant value in terms of the low embodied energy. Fiberglass, super low in embodied energy. There's a lot of focus on that. In particular, our fiberglass frame and our thin glass is very, very low on embodied carbon. Don asked a question on warranties and transferable. Our warranties are transferable one time to the second homeowner that comes in up to 10 years after the original transaction has taken place. Can the triple thin windows be installed at 10,000 feet above sea level? Absolutely. I think early on I talked about we go up to 12,000 feet is in Leadville, and we've had several projects up there. Any issues installed on the salt water? The only thing we try to stay is inward about. We try to hit about 4 to 5 miles inward on the eastern seaboard We've seen that it can be really, really challenging on our fiberglass product when we're right on that water and you get a nor'easter with really intense winds and blowing salt water. But we do have hardware systems. We go to a stainless steel hardware when we're getting close to seawater, and we can do that as an additive as well. And then lastly, Gentry asked, do you have residential windows have a flange or are they flangeless? We offer both. So many Europeans don't know what a nailing flange is. Most American manufacturers and installers only want flange. So we do a nailing flange on both of our Tyrol and Zenith windows, and we can do an anchor bracket flangeless as well. I do see, again, HPDs, EPDs, LCAs, and CDPHs. That is something that it's gaining more notoriety and traction in the space, and it is something that we are definitely exploring both with our suppliers on the components that go into our windows. It's obviously a very expensive thing to jump into, but we also understand the importance of it. We do spend an immense amount of money on certifications, whether it's AMA, NFRC, Passive House, Living Building Challenge. We have a declare label on our fiberglass product. So it takes an immense amount of money to maintain those certifications, but we feel that it is very, very important. And that's why we're exploring how we can go down that path as well.
Awesome. Okay, I'll give everyone one last call for questions. If anyone has any, got another. And awesome job, Craig, just breezing through these. So George, let's see, follow up to Southwest question. What about if not directly on the coast, but inland half a mile or so? How will it hold up?
Yeah, I mean, we have projects installed literally all over the coasts. It seems to be that eastern seaboard is the most challenging one. But it doesn't take anything away from our warranty and our ability to handle any issues that may or may not come up. But if we want to get to the specifics of where the location is and what the project is, we're happy to take that offline, George.
Yeah, definitely. If this is for a specific project, if you missed the beginning, but you can go ahead and head to that link on Acelab, quickly upload your project details there and connect directly with Alpen's team. So you'll both have an oversight of your project information and everything. All right. Seems like that might be it. So thank you, everyone. I'll leave the poll up for just 1 or 2 more seconds for anyone who has not answered that poll yet. Thank you to everyone who has so far. It's definitely really helpful for us. Thank you so much, Craig, for that awesome presentation and for that awesome Q&A. It's great to see so many questions. And yeah, you definitely breezed through those. So that was really helpful. And
absolutely. And it's my pleasure to be with you all today. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you everyone for attending. And you will receive, one last thing. You will receive a follow-up email in the coming days with, instructions for connecting and all of that good stuff. So if you didn't save those links or anything, don't worry about that. We'll follow up with you over email. And we will also be announcing our gift card winner. So stay tuned. Somebody can still win that. The winner will receive an email, and then we'll probably do a social media post about it at some point as well. All right. And that's it for everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you again, Craig.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
See you.